President Obama speaking for about 15 minutes. Joining us now from Washington with a reaction, Charles Krauthammer. So, putting the constitutional deal aside for now, what is the damage to the country with the president signing that order tomorrow?
Well, I think on the policy, it is very clear that he is making an announcement to all those people around the world waiting to get into the U.S. legally that they are chumps, and that if you want to get into this country, you want to stay in this country, the way to do it is to come across illegally, and ultimately you will be legalized. I find the president's audacity here rather remarkable. He tells us at the end, in that little oration that we heard, that I have to explain why I feel so strongly about this issue. So strongly, in fact, that he invokes Scripture to support his executive order. Well, if he felt so strongly about the issue, why did he delay announcing this until after he got past the election? Because he knew that had he announced it earlier, and after all, it's supposed to be so urgent, it would have damaged the Democrats' chances in the election. Why did he not do this before the 2012 election? Because he didn't want to jeopardize his own re-election. But most important, if he feels so strongly about this, and Scripture dictates that this ought to be done, why did he do nothing about this in 2009 and 2010 when he had control of the White House, the House, and the Senate, and he could actually have done this constitutionally by passing legislation?
All right. Now,
he wants the issue, and he wants to use it, and that's what he's got.
Anyone listening to you tonight and what you just said will then take away that the president is a complete phony, that he's doing this for venal reasons, not compassionate reasons, and that if you put that together, he's a bad person. Is that what you mean to say?
No, of course not. What I'm saying is he's a very skilled politician who has used the issue for 6 years, the way many politicians do, but it becomes somewhat offensive when he pretends it's for such high principle. And the facts I brought up are the ones that show
so you don't think that
when
he's
he
high
had the
principled
opportunity to do this, he didn't do it.
And all of that is factual. So you don't think he's a principled man, though. You think he's doing this for political reasons.
Whatever the motives are, the fact is that you can have honorable debates about the substance of the policy. I have been writing for 10 years that I would support a legalization of 11 million illegal immigrants for some of the reasons that the president had spoken of, because we're a generous, a great nation, and we don't want to see people living in the shadows. But only if the country can be assured that this will be the last cohort, the last 11 million who will come in illegally. And if that's the case, I think there'll be a consensus in the country. Shut the border, reduce the river of illegal immigration to a trickle, and the country will rally around a legalization. But not if they think that this is, as this executive order actually is, an invitation for anybody to come across the border and to know that ultimately they will be legalized.
Okay, now the president seems to have convinced himself that the border is secure. You know, citing the statistics on the deportations and the amount of people crossing, they're as low as they've been in 40 years, and on and on and on. He's convinced himself that, hey, we don't have a problem down there. And you say?
He convinces himself of a lot of things, and this is one of them. The deportation numbers are completely distorted, because up until Obama, the deportations that were counted were those from within the country. They changed the recording system, and anybody who today comes across and is returned immediately, who in the past was not counted, is now counted among the deported, so the numbers are inflated. And we all know why there was a decline in the river of illegal immigration over the last several years. It was because of the recession.
The jobs weren't available.
And we all know that as the economy recovers, we're going to have the crises that we had this summer over and over again, and not just with children, but there will be a lot of people who will come across thinking, as the president said, they are going to be allowed out of the shadows.
Because they're not going to read the micro of this. The word's going to get out. Come on in.